What's going on, family? It's your boy Freddie Johnson. I'm just going to be taking a little time to talk to you about how to handle mess. We did part one a couple months ago, and we're going to go ahead and get into part two. I guess this one you can call mess prevention. Once again, this one we can call mess prevention because there's a lot of times when I'm sure you found yourself in a situation where you sit back and you ask yourself, how did I get here? Or sometimes you might have asked yourself, how did I get here again? Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about mess prevention. I hear a lot of multimillionaires, or I've heard a lot of multimillionaires say, you tell me your 5 closest friends and the books that you are reading, and I'll tell you where you're going to be in the next 5 years. And so that's going to help us today with our subject on mess prevention. For one, you want to avoid messy people. Once again, you want to avoid messy people. If you just take time to look back and observe individuals, you learn a lot about them. There are some people who are hard to read because they're quiet. The average person, if you just watch them long enough, you're gonna find out exactly what you need to know in a short period of time. And then you got the loud, boisterous type that's always in everybody's face and they're always making noise, and you can kind of tell where they are real quick. They're gonna tell you who they are quite quickly. So if you find those individuals who have a tendency to talk about everybody's stuff, you know, they're talking about what's going on in everybody's life, you know, how many kids they have, if they've just gotten surgery, you know, they're talking about that. And I'm not talking about just in a close, intimate circle. I'm talking about mixed company. I'm talking about even around people that don't even know this individual, and they're just talking about other people's business. That's going to be a red flag right there to let you know I'm not to share anything with this individual, because of the fact that if I do, it's very likely that I'm gonna hear my business come back around to me from a person who I didn't even share this business with. So it's very important to realize that as well. There's these people out here who are just obviously messy, and you just don't want to share any personal information with them unless you want to hear that personal information again from a source that you did not even, give it to. So you want to be mindful of that. You want to be mindful of those people who they're always involved in something. They may not be a loud individual, but every time some drama comes up, their name comes up. So you want to be mindful of that too. It's like, okay, this individual or that individual may not be the one I want to hang out with. They may not be the one I want to spend too much time around. Or if it's a person who you are interested in, you might want to do a little more research before deciding to make this person a friend. You might be that individual to help that person. Who knows? But if you're not in that position to help that individual, then, unless you know a resource through which they can get help that you can refer them to, you want to stay clear of these type of people because they're always the common denominator in everything that's going wrong in everybody's lives around you. So you want to be mindful of that. And then there's those quiet folks. You know, there's those people who they don't say much at all to anybody. And there's some individuals who they're quiet because of the fact that they're just reserved. They're just reserved. They're an introvert. They really don't, like to make too much noise. They don't like to be in people's faces. They pretty much like to be left alone. And then you have those people who are quiet for a reason. It's because they're scheming. It's because they're plotting. It's because they're always thinking of ways to either get over on somebody, or they're always thinking of ways to destroy somebody else's reality because they might be upset about their own and they won't feel comfortable unless they're making somebody else feel as miserable as they do. So you have to be aware of these type of individuals. And some people may even be close to you. Some of these people may be family. Some of these people may be friends. And you want to be very cautious and careful. There's some times when you might not want to let somebody go because they're near and dear to your heart. They may be a family member. They may be a friend. They might have been your best friend since kindergarten. But this person is a messy individual and they just refuse to change. So you have to make a decision for yourself that, okay, if I want my life to be better, I might have to disconnect myself from this person. I might have to love this person from a distance. And, sometimes in life you have to do that, because what might be on them may be contagious, and I'm not just talking about a physical sickness. I'm talking about spiritual sickness, or maybe some mental issues that this individual may have. And like I said, unless you're the individual who's, destined to help them, and this for sure, then you might want to stay clear of this type of individual so you can get ahead and get in position where you can help somebody like this. So it's very important that we take ourselves seriously. It's very important that we make sure that not only the people that you love and care about are getting what they need, but you're getting what you need first and foremost. Then you can take care of everybody else. This is something that I had to learn the hard way, but I learned my lesson. So we're moving forward and things are getting better. Praise God. So part 2 is, what are you reading? What kind of information are you taking in? Are you constantly reading blog sites, and are you constantly just reading, just romance novels, or just, stuff that's not really going to benefit you in 5 years? You're reading a bunch of tabloids, you're reading a bunch of he say, she say, or are you reading a bunch of horror stories? Are you filling your mind with thrillers and chillers and, stab them and grab them? What are you filling your mind with? What are you reading? And it's very important that we take note of that, because everything that we do is first a thought. So we have to be very careful what we connect with that produces thoughts, and I'm just going to start with reading, because of the fact that, we're constantly, especially being online and being on social media, all these different kind of stuff that's out here available for us to get information, constantly taking stuff in, the stuff that's coming on the news, so on and so forth. So are you reading things that are just entertaining, or are you reading something that's inspiring? Are you reading something that's going to help you build your dream? Are you reading something that's going to help you clean your life up if your life is a mess right now? Because guess what? If your life is a mess right now, you need to be doing everything you can to get in contact with someone or some information that's going to help you clean up your mess. Okay? So, are you reading something that's going to be inspirational? Are you reading something that's motivational? Are you reading something that's going to give you the information that you need to get to the next level, to get to the next dimension in your life? So it's very important that we have to take time to read the right things. A couple suggestions. The Magic of Thinking Big. There's books like Think and Grow Rich, Who Moved My Cheese, Bringing Out the Best in People, Master Key to Riches. Of course, the Bible. You want to get information in that's going to help you grow. That's going to help you change for the better. Because if you don't take time to do that, you're not going forward. And if you're not going forward, you're automatically going backwards. So it's very important that you get in position to win in every way, shape, and form that you possibly can. These things are going to help you. So another part is part 3, which is an extension of part 2. What are you connecting yourself with? What are you watching? What kind of music are you listening to? What kind of movies are you watching? What kind of websites are you on? What are the things that are taking up your time and your attention? You know, also, what are you spending your money on? What are you filling your calendar with? What are you surrounding yourself with? It's very important that we look at these things and think about these things, but also, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about what you're thinking about? Or are you just allowing yourself to get locked in to random thought? We have to start taking control of these things in order to be able to not only clean up a current mess that you might be in right now, but to prevent future messes. It's important to pay close attention to these things. So we're talking about mess prevention, right? We don't want to end up in that same place you might have ended up in 5 years ago. You don't want to end up in that same type of relationship that you were blessed to escape from recently. You don't want to end up in that same financial mess you were in the past, okay? So it might be good too for you, in especially extreme cases, to seek professional help. Seek the advice and the counsel of people who have been studying your type of mess for years and put themselves in position to where they have learned to master it, so they can be able to help you and they can be able to help people like you. But guess what? You'll also eventually be able to help someone as well. So I try to keep these videos as brief as possible. Hopefully at some point we can get into this in a lot more detail, but I hope I've helped somebody with just some general thoughts that I share with on today. But I pray the very best for you. I pray the very best for your life and the very best for your loved ones and everybody who's surrounding you. All right? So we'll talk later, God willing. All right? Y'all take it easy. Love you. Peace.